system. How you doing?
Getting beat up by 9 guys in Syracuse, to me, there's not a whole lot of shame in.
This is the Heel to the Face podcast with your hosts, Jared Wicks and Brandon Icebreaker Clements. Tweet us using the handle @HeelToTheFace.
Woo! 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 Woo!
The bell is rung, so let's step in the ring with your hosts, Brandon and Jared.
This is the Heel to the Face podcast. Joined with Brandon the Icebreaker Clements. You can find him on Twitter at Icebreaker21, myself at Jared Wicks on Twitter. But most importantly, follow the program at Heel to the Face. That's where you get all the information you need as we are coming off another week of WWE. We still have one more to go until Super Showdown, which will be next Saturday at 5 o'clock in the morning. But either way, without further ado, let's get this week's edition of the show underway. So kind of an uneventful week in Denver, Colorado.
Yes.
Not too much going on Monday Night Raw or on SmackDown. I felt that Raw was pretty dominated by the Shield kind of, not breaking up, but obviously like hinting at the idea
They're
of like
planting the seeds.
Dean Ambrose feeling a little left out.
Well, what do you make of this? To me, I think the timing's a little off. I don't like the fact that, you know, the Shield is back together. I know they do their own singles things, obviously, but why are we starting to show maybe Dean Ambrose flipping the other side, so to speak, and turning on them already? They just got back together. Is that to me? I think it's too soon.
Yeah, I think it's a little too soon to start doing that. I mean,
I would wait.
I don't think it's so much to kill the Shield as it's just trying to create the feud between the two factions.
My thing is, I just hope. My hope is that Dean does not turn at the showdown. I hope not, but my gut's telling me I think he's going to. I think something's going to happen, and he's going to turn. That, or if you're going to see something very ultra, you're not expecting it. Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I saw that Seth Rollins was talking on Monday Night Raw to Drew McIntyre to kind of do the same thing to their. Do they have a name yet?
No name. I haven't. Of all the programming I've seen, I haven't seen anything mentioned. They just Braun, Ziggler, McIntyre. They don't have a name. They got to come up with a name. I said that on previous shows. They need to come up with a name. But that would be an ultra turn. Where you see the seeds kind of planted a little bit. Seth's kind of doing what they were doing to Dean, to Drew McIntyre. I could see Drew doing it. I see Dean turning more than I do Drew, but maybe that's the element of surprise. Maybe it was like you see Dean like at the end of Raw on Monday night. You see him kind of like in between the rock and a hard place, so to speak, and then he's like, "Oh, you know what?" And then you kind of see his expression. He's like, "Yeah, you know what? Let's go back in the ring with the Shield." To me, creative could be setting this up where it's unexpected. Maybe it's Drew McIntyre. If you want to see a surprise, I would say Drew McIntyre. But based on the way they are building it right now, I would say Dean Ambrose is going to turn at the showdown, which I still can't get over that time. I know we'll get to that time later, but we're only a little over a week away.
I do like that it feels like a pay-per-view. It doesn't feel like a special single event. It feels like the next pay-per-view on the calendar.
Yeah.
That's how they should be booking these events. They shouldn't just be booking them like, again, we can refer to the Greatest Royal Rumble all day, every day as awful and not how you're supposed to do something. But either way, they're booking this like a good pay-per-view. I'm interested. Obviously, I won't be watching it live, but we'll get to that in our social media SmackDown segment of the week.
A little teaser for
but, this past week on Raw, SmackDown, there wasn't really anything of note. I mean, obviously, SmackDown in Denver, you saw Samoa Joe showing up at AJ Styles' house. I feel like we've seen that kind of angle too many times.
Oh yeah, I remember the
like Randy Orton.
Randy Orton, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that multiple years back. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been played out, but I mean, they're going to build it the way they want to build it at this point, so nothing surprises me anymore.
So what do you make of Aiden English dropping the little bombshell on SmackDown with Lana and Rusev?
I'm curious to know what that is, because I have no inkling. I've looked over social media, trying to look at our the insider the internet wrestling community, see if there's anything see if there's anything out there, any substance, any rumors, leaks of what it could be. Makes me I just want to get to Tuesday just to know what's going on. It's probably what I say that and then I watch. I get to Tuesday and I'm like, oh, that's stupid. How many times that's happened where you get excited and then what actually happens is and you're like, well, that sucked, So I'm hoping it's something really juicy, really good. I mean, Corey Graves was kind of teasing it a little bit. He's like, yeah, my sources, because he was texting, on the broadcast. Yeah, it's really juicy.
What happened in Milwaukee?
What happened in Milwaukee? Milwaukee? Like, of all cities, they picked Milwaukee.
Well,
like, really? Like, what is that?
When's the last time WWE was in Milwaukee? I can't even remember.
You would know better than me.
Yeah.
If you don't know, I definitely don't know.
I know it hasn't been too long, but I
gotta ask you, not to bounce too far around. This is a little bit of a teaser for my tweet later, but Connor from the Ascension gets a victory over Chad Gable on Raw. What is going on? Are they gonna finally get a push? I mean,
No.
I don't think so yet. I just what's the point of that? Like, why have him beat Chad Gable? Like, are we trying? I thought they were trying to build Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. With that loss to Connor, doesn't that kind of knock things down a little bit? I think it does to a point. I mean, I know it's not a tag team match, I get it, but to me, if you're trying to build Roode and you're trying to build Chad Gable, you want them beating the crap out of everybody, whether it's a tag match or a singles match. That's the way I would look at it.
Well, remember the B team.
The B team.
Remember the B team. I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to go that route, but
I hope not.
I mean, you can go that route to be, lovable losers. Not saying that they're losers, but I'm just saying.
Well, that was like the gimmick. Like they somehow, it was like, how the heck did they get, the roll up? Like they knocked it was one of the tag matches. I think it was for the championship or one of the title defenses. The opponent got the roll up, and then I think it was, I want to say, they tackled one guy into the other guy, and then they rolled them over, and then the B team won because it knocked them over, and they just switched the shoulders just a little bit. I'm like. I like what they did with the B team. Now, where's B team? I haven't seen them on TV, really.
Speaking of not on TV, let's move over to some women. So WWE's been keeping pretty quiet. Sasha Banks has been off WWE television for a little bit.
Yes, I know.
Have you missed her?
I honestly didn't realize she was gone.
Now, Liv Morgan apparently suffered a concussion on Monday Night Raw when being kicked in the face by Brie Bella.
Did you actually see the video?
I have.
She was knocked out. She was out. She was out cold.
I mean, this is not good stuff heading into Evolution. I mean, you need really all hands on deck heading into that pay-per-view.
But okay, and I'm not trying to put a slap. I'm not trying to slap the face of the Bella Twins and when it comes to their in-ring ability. But the Botch Twins are back. I'm just saying.
The Botch Twins? Are you referring to the Iconics?
No, no. No, the Bella Twins. They're not to me. I mean, yes, they've done great. They've made great strides. But every once in a while, those Bella Twins, one of them's going to botch something. You know what I mean? So I wasn't surprised that the Bella Twins did that. I mean, they've been in the business long enough, but I am not surprised by that anymore. I'm not trying to say they're not good wrestlers, but I think...
Remember, they came in the business before the Women's Evolution. They came in the business...
As divas.
As divas, with the idea of only being divas.
Yeah, they were there for sex appeal.
Yes.
They weren't there to, mix it up. Like Natalia and all these other, Bailey, Sasha. To me, it's just, I mean, I will give them credit. From where they were in 2006, when they were in the Diva search, by the way, I saw an old clip. Man, Miz's hair back then, that bleached blonde. I'm glad he doesn't do that anymore.
I remember going to a SmackDown when The Miz was doing his thing, his hoorah. I went to one of those SmackDowns.
Did you?
I did.
I will say
it was like 2006.
The Bellas, it was a botch. I'm glad Liv's okay. And the nice thing I liked was on Twitter, at Bella Twins, they took care of that, and they apologies, like, hey, sorry about that, kind of. Like, that was cool. I appreciate them owning that. Do you think the Bella Twins need to be wrestling anymore? I mean, in this day and age,
I don't mind what they do that, like the mixed tag she did with Daniel Bryan. But as for Nikki and Brie, themselves, no, I don't think so.
I don't. And this is not a knock on them. I just, with all the great in-ring tacticians like Natalya, Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair. I can go on. I mean, we have a great list. Ember Moon. I just think they're more. The Bella Twins, I think, are more for sex appeal. Honestly, I don't think their in-ring ability is that great. You would think after all these years, they would do something. Here's my hot take. I would say this. I think they're just a step above Eva Marie.
Yeah,
I would, and I say that because they all three of them have sex appeal.
I mean, everyone's got is a step up above her, but
I'm saying from an in-ring perspective, Eva Marie just couldn't cut it in the ring. I think the Bellas are a little bit above that. I don't think they're piss poor, so to speak, but I think they're like, they're okay. You're not going to get a spectacular match out of them, I don't think. Not technically speaking, not a chance. That's why I like watching Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Those are great matches. And Sasha and Bayley, those are classics. I would say this, in the short time that Ronda Rousey has been in WWE, I like what she has shown in the ring in the short time she's here compared to all these years the Bellas have been in the ring. I feel like Ronda to me, I feel like she's picking things up almost on a Kurt Angle level. Because if you remember, Kurt Angle, he came out, Vince, as soon as the Olympics were over, Vince was knocking on his door to get him to WWE. And he never dreamed of, I don't think he ever dreamed of being a sports entertainer, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't watched his biography or anything.
No, I don't think he ever did.
But Vince, offered him it, and he picked up right away. He was a natural. Ronda Rousey, I think, is a natural. I think she's still learning, and she still looks good in the ring. Like, that judo background, there's some maneuvers you see that she does that no other women's competitor is doing. And it looks good, and it looks badass. It's technical. So, for me, the Bella Twins, you're going to get that, the remote or whatever, she does her little knee against the rope thing, and then you see the, what is it called from Nikki Bella, her little finishing maneuver there, like the 2.0, Rack Attack 2.0 or something like that. I think that's what it's called. I like them on Total Divas. I like them on Total Bellas. They're great they're great ambassadors, but I think it's time to let the better wrestlers wrestle.
Speaking of, it's time to let the better wrestlers wrestle. Strong rumor Shawn Michaels is coming back to the ring, and he's got a few matches in his arsenal, his future.
Yes.
What do you like that?
I do. I like it because here's the thing. If Ric Flair was fighting in his 60s and doing fine, I wouldn't say it was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life, still putting on a good show, what makes you think? And Shawn Michaels, by the way, looks like he's still in good shape. I think he's going to put on a good show. I don't think it's going to be like he goes in a match and like a newer star carries him. I don't think it's going to be like that. I don't. He's been on the sideline, and here's the thing. He's healthy. He's very healthy. I don't think he's been this healthy in a very, very long time because he hasn't taken any bumps in a while.
Yeah. So,
to me, you're going to see Shawn Michaels. I don't think he's going to go for 30 minutes. I think we're going to see more of a 10, 15-minute match. If he does 30, I'll be standing up, clapping after the match because that, for a guy and he's got to be in his 50s now, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mid 50s, right?
I know he debuted in like 86.
Yeah, it's definitely 50s. If he can go like that, I'm excited. I can't wait to see him. Who do you think he's going to go against? Undertaker? Do you think that's?
Yeah, I would not Undertaker exactly, but I would think it would be one of the. It's not going to be like what Shane McMahon was doing, for example. I feel it would be just another like one-off against, Triple H.
That would be cool.
I don't know if I'd want to see him against Undertaker. I mean, again,
two old guys.
Well, no, but it's the
I don't
storylines being ruined.
Well, here's my thing.
Again, more like that didn't matter because they're going to fight again kind of nonsense.
Aside from the storylines, I would say this. Undertaker needs to be carried at this point in his career. I don't think Shawn Michaels, I think he'll put on a good show, but I don't think he can put on a good enough show where he can carry the match by himself. Shawn Michaels, as long as the other guy's doing his job, and Shawn Michaels can handle his own business, where they're not really carrying each other, I think that's fine. I think that's as far as it goes. I don't see that match turning out well because I don't see either one of those competitors pretty much carrying the match, so to speak. What are your thoughts on it? I mean, I'm curious. I mean, do you think...
I don't think Undertaker's that bad. I mean, because of the fact that I don't see him that much, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, he covers up his weaknesses by showing up a couple times a year.
Yeah.
Well, more recently a year, but now once a year. But he has shown up a few more times, which is nice. Personally, he cuts a good promo still. That's fine. His promo skills are, that's fine. That's his game, from in ring, I've been saying it since we've been doing the show. I'm over it. I don't want him wrestling anymore.
But you do want Shawn Michaels wrestling.
The difference is Shawn hasn't wrestled in how many years?
So what you think is that because you haven't seen how bad Shawn Michaels is now.
I want to see one match out of Shawn Michaels. If he can still go, maybe you give him another match. If not, then okay, that's it. Make it a good match, obviously, if it's going to be his final match. Make it against like Triple H or somebody of that level, so to speak. That's me. Undertaker, I've seen it. I feel like he should have retired, a few years ago. That's just my stance on it.
So one last thing I want to touch on is what I've noticed on SmackDown and on Raw is they're kind of bleeding what we see on Mixed Match Challenge. I don't know if it's to promote Mixed Match Challenge.
Absolutely.
But we're starting to see that more on Raw and SmackDown. Obviously, SmackDown this past week kicked off with Carmella and R-Truth.
By the way,
Raw had
awesome.
Bayley and Finn Balor.
Truth is funny, man. I love Truth.
He is.
Truth, I remember Truth back when he was K-Quick back in the day with Road Dogg.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And seeing him all these years later, still, you don't see him on TV that often. You'll see him usually as he's a comic relief kind of thing. Like it breaks up the show a little bit. He'll be backstage, like saying that Carmella Charlotte, something like that, or hey, I want to get that championship match. He's funny. He can still go. He's still athletic for being in his mid-40s. The guy can still go. I'm not expecting a title run by any means, but he's funny. I think he still cuts a good promo. I think he's still good.
Is there anybody, though, he can go against? Is there anybody you'd be interested in seeing him go one-on-one against?
Yes, Ty Dillinger. Ty Dillinger.
So him versus Ty Dillinger on a pay-per-view would be something you'd be interested in tuning in.
Well, they got to build it up first. You can't just show up like, oh, hey, we're going to throw it together. But if you see the interactions back there, him and Ty have been hanging out, maybe something happens and they spark a little feud. I'm not saying it's going to make.
You don't want to see him at Capital, like we saw Capital Punishment. I want to say, was it 2011? Was it that long ago? 2011, 2009, maybe.
It's been a few years.
That Capital Punishment pay-per-view where it was R-Truth versus John Cena for the belt.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that far, but I'm not saying Ty Dillinger, facing R-Truth is going to push him to a championship. But I think it would give Ty Dillinger a little life, in the sense of creative, because what's Ty Dillinger doing? He's just kind of back there. He's kind of like R-Truth's sidekick, sort of. Like he's just kind of like, all right, let's go, Truth, let's get you. That's all he does. Like, no. I mean, Ty was in a match.
What about R-Truth versus Shinsuke in a U.S. title picture?
I could see it, but I don't see Shinsuke dropping the belt to him. I don't. I mean, that'd be an ultimate surprise. I don't see that happening. I mean, I know we talked, I think it was last week, about Shinsuke kind of, I guess, floundering, just kind of sitting there. I mean, maybe something fresh like that where he somehow gets upset. Maybe that breathes life into him again. Because to me, Shinsuke, I mean, he's my guy, but I just don't get amped up for Shinsuke matches right now. I don't like before.
Yeah, I don't either.
Like before, when he showed up, I was like, oh, yeah, we're good. Now I see him, I'm like, okay. It's one of those matches where I'm sitting on my couch watching the match. Like, when he first came in, I was watching every second. I had my phone sitting on the table. I wasn't even looking at the phone. Now, it's one of those matches where I'm like, all right, let me scroll the web, see what's going on, on my phone. Like, I'll kind of keep an eye on the match, but kind of not, That's where I'm at with Shinsuke.
That's where I've been at with Shinsuke for a little while.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate.
But I do want to say, I really like what they're doing with R-Truth. I wish they would do more Truth TV. I like that. I like that 7-second dance break. That was funny.
Yeah, I like how we have to only have one show too. I like how Paige is like, go get your show back. Like, why can't
Why can't
again, wrestling being wrestling, it doesn't make any sense. There isn't like one show. He didn't steal Miz TV. It could be its own show.
So wait, we can't have what was Jericho's show?
Yeah, the highlight reel.
Highlight reel. Or we can't bring back the...
Yeah, if R-Truth had the show on SmackDown, that means that he literally took Miz TV. That doesn't mean it's its own show, even though there's been hundreds of shows on WWE TV. Because wrestling is wrestling. And for this sake alone, that means he took that show. Not like Miz could have Miz TV later on in the show. Absolutely not. In fact, it's not like he stole the Kevin Owens show, or he stole the highlight reel. He stole Miz TV, because what do you call it? Truth TV?
Yeah, I liked it. It was good. It was I don't think it was great for like storyline purposes, but I think it was entertaining.
It was entertaining. It was an entertaining way to kick off SmackDown this past
It was
week.
different.
Yes.
Like who would have turned on the TV at 8:00 local time and you see Truth and Carmella starting the show? I didn't see that coming.
I did not either. So that's going to do it for this week's wrap-up of Raw and SmackDown. Kind of an uneventful week in the world of professional wrestling. Next week will be the go-home shows before Super Showdown. So if you enjoyed this video, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. And as always, follow Brandon the Icebreaker Clements on Twitter at Icebreaker21. Myself, just Jared Wicks. Even though I've taken a hiatus from Twitter, I will be joining back soon. I've been off the social media for a little bit, probably a good month.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's been off the grid. So.
I haven't tweeted or Instagrammed. I don't have Facebook, but I haven't done either of those things in about a month. I don't know when I will do them again. Sometimes you just need to take a break from all those things.
And just get back to it later.
Yes. So, but you can still follow me while I'll still be there, and you can read old tweets. It's all day long. But most importantly, one place that I continually tweet, regardless of my personal account, is at Heel to the Face, where you'll find the link to this show on both YouTube and our podcast formats, as well as other videos, as well as you'll find our Twitter question of the week and our tweets of the week. Those will be found on our social media SmackDown segment. If you're watching on YouTube, look for that video.